Over, under, over, under.
Now here is a problem that puzzles my brain. At Christmas time it nearly drives me insane. I've asked all the policemen and postmen as well, but none of them seem to be able to tell. Does Santa Claus sleep with his whiskers over or under the sheet? Does he go to bed with them tucked in his vest? And when he sleeps, do they tickle his chest? Our lawyers and doctors and statesmen say this question's got them all beat. Does Santa Claus sleep with his whiskers over or under the sheet?
No, I can't swim a stroke, said a sailor one night, as he fell in the ocean and vanished from sight. His mate said, I can't swim, but still there's no crime. But tell me before you go down the third time.
Sa'n moyn mynd i fy ngwrs Cymreig. Sa'n off i wneud gwaith gadre. Hefyd, dim amser gyda fi, anyway. Chi'n gwybod, rhaid fi wneud fe'n gwaith gadre nawr, a dim amser gyda fi o gwbl. Sa'n moyn wneud hefyd. Sa'n moyn mynd tu fas hefyd, achos mae'n wyr go iawn. Mae mor oer, ti fas. Mae mis Rhagfyr yn jyst mor brysur ac yn oer. A sy'n gallu ymdopi, so mae'n mynd i'r gwrs. So, falle dwi ddim yn mynd i fynd. Ydy hynny'n iawn? Achos sa'n gwybod. Oh my god. I have just tallied up how much money I spend at Gooch Bakery. And I knew it was a lot, but it's a lot. I'm not even gonna say it's ridiculous. It's disgusting, the figure. But basically, we're just stuck in a pickle. We're stuck in a nasty pickle, which is basically that we live smack in the middle of the city. Where we live is urban as fuck. I don't know if you can see the window behind me, just people, absolutely loads of people walking by. It's a normal day. Do you know what I mean? It's just in the day. People going to and from school, work, shopping, whatever. And before 8 a.m. So from 8 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. is that times 8,000, okay? In that span of 45 minutes, for some reason, just every single person and their mother and their dog and their carer or whatever, they're all on the road. But at roughly 7:45, 15 minutes before 8, it's nobody. It's dead. So if we go at the time we need to go to get to school in the morning, it's just the sidewalks are jammed, the roads are jammed, all the cars are in a rush. There's so many of them and they don't give a fuck that Anwen is not even 8 years old and on her bike and trying to get to school without dying. Do you know what I mean? They're not looking, not paying attention. We are in their way. And they don't care that they're letting us know it quite violently, revving their engines and stuff. And we can't just go on the sidewalk because there are very small children on the sidewalk. It's a whole deal. We can't cycle safely, at the time we need to go. So we have to go at 7:45. That's the golden time. It's only about 15 minutes before the rush, but we can basically go from here to school. It takes about half an hour to get to school. It's a mile and a half or something like that. We can go from here to school the whole way, and it's just basically, it's not dead because it's the city. There's still people going out to work and stuff, but it's quiet enough to where it's not scary. It's still, we can still do it. So, if we leave at 7:45, we get to the school at about 8:15, and school doesn't start until 10 to 9. So basically we're what the fuck are we gonna do? And in the summertime we have breakfast picnics. We'll have toast, we'll carry it in a basket, we'll bring a little thermos of cocoa or whatever. But nowadays, obviously in the wintertime, it's either raining, or just cold as fuck. We can't do it. We have to go somewhere for that time. And while the area that we're in, we live in a neighborhood that's a working class neighborhood, we've got greasy spoons, we've got the random holes in the wall run by nanas, their health and safety number or whatever, their food standard hygiene thing is a number 3 on a 5 scale, whatever. But you don't care because it's Nana, and Nana cares about you. She's not gonna poison you. She loves you, But they're cheap, they're cheerful, they make all the food you want for super cheap. It's a great place to go. Whereas up by her school, for some reason, is like a pocket of poshness, and I don't understand why, but it is. And everything that's there, most of it doesn't open till 10 a.m. anyway, because, you know, I don't know, like rich moms need a lie-in, like, I don't know why things don't open until then. The only thing that's open is this Gooch place, and it costs £17 a whack. Like, when we go there, we literally get the cheapest stuff there. And sometimes we go there and I say, okay, no drinks today, we're just having water. And I don't even have coffee. And still, just with the food, it's like £12. So anyway, we're like stuck in a pickle. Like, I keep, every time I go over this money issue about how much money we spend at Gooch, like I revisit the problem and I look at maps, I stare at maps and go, okay, how far is this from here? If we're to go from here to here, that's a cycle lane, so that's easy. So if we're to go blah, blah, blah. And still, I cannot find a place for us to go that's warm. Even like a free place where we could sit in the warm and eat our toast that we've brought from home, like a picnic or whatever. Like, there's a church there that does like a warming library, you know, like, because people can't afford their heating or whatever, they're like, okay, you can come in and just sit in the warm in here. But even that doesn't open till 10. I don't know, like, I have, it's like a whole thing. Oh, showtime's it. Oh shit, I gotta go. Oh god, fucking freezing cold. No. I saw you.
Ta-ta, Mr. Williams.
Oh no. Your teacher's gonna see how badly I drive.
Why?
I don't know, now I feel like self-conscious. That you can like see me driving now. Like, this would be like the time now for me to just like knock the wing mirror off on this tiny road, like next to all these parked cars. Or like driving too fast or something, like, oh, that Alan's mum, she speeds. Okay, so there's Viennese whirls.
What's Viennese rolls?
Viennese whirls.
Have you tasted them before?
Shortbread rings.
I know those.
Yeah.
Have you ever tasted this?
Yeah, they're nice. Here,
And then I want to have one cookie.
a chocolate chunk cookie.
Yes.
I think you're eating 2 cookies at once.
They
What-
don't.
What's
They're
she
all
gonna,
free.
what's she gonna be?
It's gonna be a maker where she makes cars that can fly. Then everyone's gonna buy one because they're all for free. I'm gonna write a story about Etta and Anwen flying in the magical car. That's what the story title's gonna be, because I'm gonna be a story writer.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we promised. So I can't be a chef anymore.
Okay. I thought you were gonna also be like a naturalist, like somebody who like studies animals and stuff.
Yeah, I am. So
You're gonna do that.
I'm just gonna be a nurse and
You're gonna be like a nature person and a writer.
story writer.
Okay. That's cool. Okay, guys, can we chat lately today about reading goals? Okay, so my 2022 reading goal, like, I was doing the pop sugar thing and whatever, but my main goal for 2022 was to read my shelves in my house and to knock my unread book piles down to fewer than 100 unread books in my house. And right around September, I did it, and I've still been doing it. So I like let my restrictions for book buying go a bit. Like, before, I had a really intense, like, no more than 2 books a month and no more than like 2 books at a time. So like, if I didn't buy any books in 1 month, I could buy 4 books in the next month, but I couldn't buy them all at once. I could buy no more than 2 books at a time. So basically no book hauls for the whole year of 2022. And I said in 2021 at Christmas, I was like, this is the last book haul until 2023. And I've fucking done it, okay? No book hauls for this entire year. And now my reading number, the amount of unread books in my house, is down to 89 books. There are 89 unread books in my house. I read 150 books this year. And I got rid of 120. So that wasn't all like me reading them and then getting rid of them. That was a couple sort of unhaul situations where I sort of like, I think I did 3 different chunks in the year where it was like, say 10, 15 books or whatever that I got rid of. But in the end, like, I fucking done it. And now I feel like for 2023, like, I don't want to pull the brakes off. I don't want, I don't know, to like completely let go and like buy loads of books and have like crazy intense book hauls like I used to do. Like, I used to just go crazy and have book hauls of like 10 books at a time, and then I'd read 2 of them, and then 8 of those would just stay around for years. Do you know what I mean? And I also don't want to do this with my library books. So I think, like, I'm not gonna have any goals for next year surrounding like the number of books in the house, but I am, I think, gonna like keep it in mind and not like go crazy with it. I don't know. I think my new goals for next year will be around my library books. So Sarah, Your True Shelf, she was on about this in her sort of latest reading goals video, about how she's only going to have 1 library book out at a time. And I find that would be hard for me, in that oftentimes you have to have a book on hold for a crazy amount of time. If I want that book from my library, I have to put it on hold, and then there's no knowing when that hold is going to come up, and like, what if I don't have time, blah, blah. So I'm not going to restrict myself to a certain number of library books, but I think I'm going to restrict myself to how long I have them for, you know, or like, I'll have certain months where those are literally library book months. Like, I'm not reading anything in that month until all of my library books are read, you know. And I think January might be the first one of those. Like, I've got loads of library books in my house. I think January's TBR is just going to be the library books I have in my house, just to like knock them completely out. Okay, 2022 reading goals is a success. Okay. So now 2023, looking up, I think I'm gonna do Pop Sugar again. So I did like the Pop Sugar reading challenge or whatever. Like, I still have 3 left. I know the time is ticking, but like, it's not dead yet. It could still happen. But I think I'm gonna do the Pop Sugar reading thing again. And I'm also, I think, gonna do Seattle Library's summer readathon thing. That's over like 3 months. I do that every year and I love it. And I think I'm gonna do like a couple new ones this year. Like, there's always one for Storygraph, isn't there? There's like, the year before was like a translated fiction one, and this year was like a read around the world sort of one. So I think I'd like to do a Storygraph one, because I quite like Storygraph. And I think also I'd like to maybe do Simon Savage's one. So he had one from last year where he did it with like his mum, and he had his version and his mum's version, and I loved both of them. So I sort of missed the boat on that one. I found out about a bit too late. So I'm hoping he'll do it again this year and I'll be able to do it. As well, I'm thinking about doing, because like my reading was quite, like, I was really into horror this year, which I, like, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm perfectly happy with being super into horror. But like, one sort of genre I haven't really gotten into really fully is like a humor genre. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love celebrity memoirs that are funny, so why wouldn't I love like the humor genre? Like, proper funny, laugh out loud, you know, belly laugh sort of funny. So there's like this list on NPR of like the funniest books or whatever, like 100 funniest books, or I don't know. I think I'm gonna have like a mini project to do with that, like to do with getting into the humor genre. And like, you know, if it turns out actually none of these are actually funny, all these ones that they're like, oh, these are the funniest books of the year, and I'm like, are they funny though? They're not funny. Then I can just abandon the project, you know, like, and I'll just, you know, like, if I'm not into the humor genre, I'm not into the humor genre. Like, I'm not gonna be weird about it, but I'd like to get into that genre if it's gonna give me lulz. Do you know what I mean? Because I love a book lull. I love it. Anyway, biggest thing I think I'm gonna change about 2023 is how I log all my shiz. Okay, so I was doing it in like spreadsheet form, and it's sort of like, in one column is like the books that I read, and one column is the books I've got rid of, and like one column is like the books that I'm pulling from, blah blah, and it like calculates my number and everything like this. And then I've got a separate section for like readathons I've done in January, you know, like sort of a booktube prize like column or whatever, and like a Dowithon column, and you know, like shorty September column and stuff like this. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do a spreadsheet this year, because It's on my computer, it's not on my phone, it's not online, and I'm finding it hard to sort of update it. Like, I'll have to sort of make myself a mental note in my phone to then go onto my computer when I'm at work and, like, you know, update this random spreadsheet. And what's on the spreadsheet isn't anything that can't be easily logged elsewhere, just in apps and online and stuff. Like, I use a lot of Goodreads, and so Goodreads I really like to track what books I've read for the year, because it sort of gives out little like covers, you know, like sort of displays them all together, and also displays like what your friends are reading and stuff like that in their little like cover icons, and I love that. And same with Pinterest, like you can do it like that, where you can put the book covers into like specific categories, and you can do it for each readathon, or like all the books you've read for the year or whatever. And then also Storygraph is good for figuring out which books you want to read for each sort of reading challenge or whatever. So like Seattle Summer Readathon, I can like put it up on the reading challenge as part of Storygraph, and then just plug in what books I want to read and then knock them out. Like, it'll say, oh, challenge completed, blah blah blah. So I think I'm just going to use those 3 apps, Pinterest, Goodreads, Storygraph, to track all my reading from now on. You know, what books I've read, how many I've read, what reading challenges I'm doing, how I'm doing in those reading challenges, what books I'm going to read for them, and stuff like that. And just abandon my spreadsheet completely, which is going to be like new territory. Like, it's going to be a whole Wild West sort of world.
I'm so cray cray.
Mm.